Hello everybody, Andy here from Glass Half Dead. Normally a Kill Team channel, but today we're going GW generic. We're talking about local game stores selling GW stuff, specifically the Horus Heresy, also a little bit about the old world, but there you go. So, let's have a quick chat about, look, I don't know what I've titled this, I don't know what the clickbait is, I don't know if I've said like, Horus Heresy is dead, or biggest Games Workshop sale ever, or whatever. The long and the short of it is, if you're in the UK, Wayland Games is currently doing a 35% discount on all the new, apart from one item, and it's not the starter box, all the new Horus Heresy box, so like things, the boxes, I'm going to go through it in a moment. And that's super interesting. And I want to talk about why that is. Is it the game? Did Wayland Games just mess up and having to clear stock? We even have a potential message from Wayland Games left on the Daka forum. I want to talk about that and just where that's going. And of course, we can't do that without talking about the drama that has surrounded Horus Heresy. If you are on the internet and you follow GW content creators, I 100% know that 1-2 weeks ago you saw nothing but a wall of Horus Heresy is bad, shall we say? I was going to say a lot of far worse words there. And I want to talk to you about, I'll quickly cover why people are saying that, because if you're like me, you're not really into Horus Heresy, and maybe you're looking at it like, oh, it was cool for the reveals because some of those models could be used in other games, but actually it's not my thing. As it isn't the most kind of a beginner-friendly product that GW does, much like the old world. So I'll tell you what the drama is. Don't worry, you don't have to go dig up all the other stuff. Now, as a soulless shill content creator that I am, you know, when I see some big wave of content, whether it's Horus Heresy's dead or how to do Slapchop or whatever it is, whatever the latest meta for content is, I always look at it and I say, should I talk about it? And the answer is inevitably no, because I'm a Kill Team channel and people don't really want to see what I have to say about other things, okay? And so when everybody was slagging off Horus Heresy a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I thought, I have kept up with what's going on because I think it's interesting, but it's not really my channel. So the reason I am doing this right now is because I think that morally, when a place is doing a 35% discount on Games Workshop stuff, it would be wrong of me to not try my absolute best to get that out to people. With that said, I am still a soulless content creator and a shill. So if you would like to click on my affiliate link when you buy in the UK from Wayland Games, that'd be awesome of you. Thank you very much. I also have other affiliate links, but obviously today we're talking about Wayland Games. So, a little bit of context, a little bit of brief background. Oh, if that's all you want, we're done. There you go. There's a 35% discount sale at Wayland Games in the UK. Right, let's dig into it a little bit. This is legitimately the biggest Games Workshop sale I've ever seen, and it is happening within, like, it's still on pre-order. It releases in 2 days' time. It hasn't hit the stores, and it's at 35% off. In case you do not know, in the UK at least, 10 to 15% is standard. If you're ever buying from, you know, Element Games or Darksphere or Triple Helix or Goblin Gaming or Firestorm Games, any of these places, you'll be looking at between 10 and 15% off. Every now and again, they might rotate something to a 20% or do individual items at 20%, but 10, 15 is your standard. Cool. Wayland is always 20% off. We could talk about why that may or may not be another time. That's not really the point of this one. I use both Element and Wayland for regular purchases. I normally go to Wayland if I'm doing a larger order, because obviously I get that extra money off, and I don't care how long it takes to get me. Whereas if I want something next day, I tend to go straight to Element because they've always been very good at getting it to me the next day. There you go. Whereas Wayland does, yeah, a slower delivery. Cool. Also, Whaling Games, 20% off normally. Last week did 25% off the old world, which I posted about, but I didn't make a video about because 25% is like, it's fine. It's just, you know, a little bit more. And for those into the old world, that's awesome. And also, more importantly, they had discounts on items that have been out for like a year now. So it's like, okay, fine. They've had the stock sitting. They want to move it. It's been there for a year. Cool, I get it. Whereas the Cathay stuff, the newer stuff, I think didn't maybe. Anyway, so that's interesting, but it's not newsworthy. Now we have, allow me to shrink myself, sorry, so that you can see behind me, the far more important, completely white screen behind me. There you go. We have all of this stuff at 30 from Horus Heresy, which again, hasn't hit the store yet, hasn't hit the shelves at 35% off, and I have genuinely never seen this before. The biggest GW discount I've ever seen was for the Age of Sigmar Dominion box set, again from Wayland, I think, but also other random local stores did it. But that was like 2.5 years after Dominion released, right? And so they clearly just had the box set still sat there, which is something to talk about, but never before have I seen a 35% discount on something not in stores. There you go. So, with that said, here you go. And so when they sent around an email, and obviously I'm in their email list, and I thought, oh, they probably just mean like the tactical squad because they ordered too many normal Marines, and actually, why would you buy those, right? No, straight up, the big box, this big bad boy right here, 35% off, 195 down to 126 is, I mean, it's a bit of a steal, I can't lie. I realise I've just outed myself as not caring how much money I pay for stuff that I enjoy by saying that's a steal. I do understand that. You get a lot of models. It's a standard GW starter kit. You get a rulebook, blah, blah, blah. I have been on the fence about buying Saturnine because I don't care about any of this. I care about this big guy, and I care about the Dreadnought, and I don't care about anything else. I don't want to play Horus Heresy. I just want these two models, and I've been looking at prices on eBay, see if I'll buy just one or two, but like, this is almost at a level, if I'm honest, where I might buy Saturnine and then just sell everything else and keep the two models, because it's going to work out much cheaper for me. There you go. The only thing they're not doing 35% off on is the actual rulebook itself, which I guess makes sense. That's a 15%, which isn't even their normal 20%. Maybe they have a different rule for, oh, this here is also 15, but then these are 25s, 35s? I don't know. Anyway, right, let me tell you what the drama is with Horus Heresy, because we've got to cover that, haven't we? So, there was a lot of drama about kit bashing. Basically, they've removed rules for models that they do not sell. There you go. So in all of these books here, these Liber Questoris or whatever, Liber whatevers, the Libers, if they do not sell a Terminator with lightning claws, then there are not rules in these books for a Terminator with lightning claws. There you go. In these books, you get models that you can take from boxes off the shelf. Nice. That makes sense to everybody like me, who's a big old GW cuck and just likes to take models out of the box and play them. However, yeah, there you go. However, there was also additionally, so that's probably actually largely what you've heard about. If you've seen people complaining about it, you've seen what we would normally term the rivet counters complaining about this. And there's no doubt that it is GW removing a certain flavour of the narrative. We will talk about PDFs in a moment, don't worry. There was also a large lashing out, and blowback. I'm failing on my words here. Towards particular content creators, particularly SN Battle Reports, who are like the big Horus Heresy channel, like the only ones that do consistent battle reports. You should check them out. They're very good, very high quality stuff. You should check it out if you're into Horus Heresy, obviously. If not, probably not. And basically, they got a load of flack for not breaking their NDA and warning the community that this was happening. I've actually written in my notes here, they got lots of lashback from incredibly immature man babies. So, and that they need to reevaluate their life. So, you know, Maybe I didn't need to say that, but I've written it down, so I've said it. There you go. Now, after this, a PDF GW announced that they're going to release a PDF which will bring back 90% of these kit bashable models, and that these PDFs, because Horus Heresy is a narrative game, these PDFs will be legal in tournaments. Even if you go to places like Warhammer World, you will still be allowed to legally play these models that no longer exist in the range, essentially, or never existed in the range, to be clear. I say 90%, there are some that aren't being brought back. I don't know the specifics. There you go. Now, this was an already planned document. GW does not work fast enough to turn something around this quickly from Lashback, let's be clear. However, 100% on GW, they should have communicated this better and realised that, let's be honest, the Horus Heresy fan base is pretty rabid when it comes to their narrative and all that stuff. So saying, hey, you can't use these in a tournament anymore is bad. And not just in the tournament, sorry, but legendsing things is fine, I think, in such a narrative-heavy game. So, yeah, just saying, there will be a PDF. You will still have rules for these models, don't worry. Would have been a smart move. They should have preempted that quite a bit, I think, instead of allowing the content creators to take some flack on that. I also hear there's poor proofreading in the Libra books, but I haven't looked into it, so I don't really care. There you go. Which is a shame if so. This is an expensive product from GW. They should be, checking this stuff, let's be honest. It also has to be mentioned, because again, this is just things that are adding to the milieu of crap that we've seen on Warhammer content creation in the last 2 weeks, right? There has been a removal. Again, I haven't seen this myself. I've just seen it talked about. There's been a removal of gendered language when it comes to the creation of Space Marines, I believe. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't really care. I also don't think it affects sales positively or negatively, so probably isn't why Wayland has gone and done what they've done. But people do have opinions online, which is obviously shocking, and that was another thing. There you go. That's it. That's kind of the drama. So why does Horus Heresy not sell well? We have a statement. Well, sorry. We have a potential, maybe this is Wayland Games, maybe it's not. It's anonymous. Anybody could say anyone online. So I will read this very, very briefly. All it's saying, ignore the stop. Right. This is someone that claims to be the owner of Wayland Games. There you go. And I kind of believe them because what they're saying is so dull that, yeah, if it was someone trying to stir up trouble, they probably would have said something interesting, right? This just seems like a normal thing to say. So basically, we use historic data and try to gauge interest in new releases in a number of ways. Normally we get it right, sometimes we don't. This is one of those times we got it wrong. No matter the discussions about the product, which is the drama I just talked about, I think we had enough information to get it right, but this time we were overly optimistic. Demand of this release is not where we expected it to be, and rather than sit on large amounts of stock, tying space and cash up for a long tail, we wanted to make sure we moved more stock than we had, so launched the promotion. One thing we have already done and communicated to customers that had already ordered is that they would be getting store credit or vouchers for the difference if they had ordered at our original price, as we don't want customers feeling they have overpaid. We have no idea what other retailers have ordered, and generally we pay no attention, but I know we ordered a very large amount, so rather than see that cash tied up, we have made a change to make sure it's moved. We have to pay for stock before launch, and they say some other stuff. Cool. Nice. They also say in the last bit here, one other point is that GW are shifting to a new manufacturing facility, and I think we were too wary of supply issues whilst they did it, so I ordered more than we should have to last. There you go. So basically, I don't need to say basically, I just read it out to you. This is basically them saying we over-ordered, and in addition, we got fewer sales than anticipated. Although I do think they lean more heavily towards the we over-ordered than the we made fewer purchases than really expected. But it's the same thing. That's literally the same thing. I don't know why I'm making a difference between these definitions. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Basically, their forecasting was wrong. And then GW actually gave them all the stuff they wanted and asked for, and that means they forecast wrong. Cool. If I had to now say why did they not sell as many as they could, total bit of a guess. This is kind of leaning towards both the fact that they've done these larger than normal sales on Horus Heresy this week and Old World last week, but I suspect that a lot of the players that are currently into those older games are probably less beginner focused, a little bit older, a little bit more willing to have existing armies from 20 years ago, and why they're not active customers. They're customers that were active, but you know, they bought X amount, which bumped the numbers up that year when they bought all of that, but now they don't need anything more for their armies, right? Horus Heresy isn't the most, you know, infinitely expanding game as we get in 40k or Kill Team or whatever. Likewise for Old World, they're literally just releasing old sprues. So if you had your army and kept it from 20 years ago, you don't need to buy anything. You still have it. It's not new stuff. Perhaps we could also look at the fact that a lot of the armies are Forge World resin. I don't know if you've ever used Forge World resin yourself. I have. The official stuff. And it's fine. It's not bad. I've had Necromunda characters, to be clear. That's the Forge World resin I've used. And they were good. You know, they were far too expensive. And, you know, not as durable as plastic. And maybe the detail retention is higher, but not in any way that matters, or at least not on the models that I used. So perhaps, you know, having a reputation as a company solely around, like, being the best miniatures in the market, which is what they pride themselves on, and then saying, oh, but here's some crappy resin. Like, well, frankly, you charge too much for it, and I think a lot of people are happy to buy from, you know, Russia and China for that kind of overpriced crap, to be fair. Also, we could argue that, you know, like, these sorts of people are disinclined to buy new models because they're kind of more rivet counters. They've got their existing armies. They don't need to expand. They have this is my army. They were at Istvan 5. That's the army I have. I don't need to ever expand. I have that army for that battle. And that's the thing I want to recreate, which is very much a thing among the more narrative, historical-based gamers, which is what both Horus Heresy and Old World are based on. Also, yeah, there you go. That's kind of it, really. Nostalgia. It all comes down to nostalgia to me. I think that GW has realised somehow that they can make money to a certain extent off of these products, but a lot of the people buying it, or not buying it, I genuinely think are the nostalgia heads from 20 years ago, or in Horus Heresy's case, 10 years ago. And they don't really want new things. Like everybody, they're excited by new things, but it doesn't always fit into what they want. Like, in 40k, things are ever expanding, right? You always want the new thing. There's not a reason to not want the new thing, basically. Whether you're a tournament goer and you're like, oh, well, the new stuff, it has, you know, cool new, too powerful rules. Or you just want to collect everything because buying one of everything isn't that crazy. A little bit for Marines. But I think that the Horus Heresiers and the Old Worlders just kind of want what they want. And, like, I'm sure a lot of them would want one Saturnine squad of Termies for fun on the mantle. But they don't want to, you know, go out and buy all Saturnines. I don't know. Anyway, you let me know what you think. Again, this is just me rambling about stuff. I've already told you that there's 35% off Horus Heresy. I almost clicked buy myself. It's not quite enough for me because I really do just want the Dread and the big dude. And because I'm trying to cut back myself on hobby and such, I can't figure out how to get them into Kill Team. They're both too big bases for Kill Team specifically. They'd be great proxies for my Custodes in 40k, but I'm trying to be sensible. So I have not picked it up myself, but legit, this is the price I would pick it up at. 126 is fine for me. So I think it'd be really interesting if we could hear back later on from Wayland to see if a 35% discount actually got them the sales they want, or if it was, nope, we made 1 or 2 extra sales, you know, like an extra 10% of sales or whatever, but actually people there just isn't the demand for it. It wasn't the price, it was the product. That'd be very interesting. Anyway, if you watched till the end, thank you. I will see you tomorrow for more Kill Team, don't you worry.